Hi friends, last time we talked about Vincent van Gogh's Starry Night. Today we are going to start our project on Starry Night. So before we do that, let's take a look at the Starry Night picture. Vincent van Gogh was our artist for this, but when we do our projects, you are the ones doing the drawing, so you are the artists. Our pictures are going to have a lot in common with Van Gogh's picture, but you are going to have a chance to add your own things into the picture to make it your very own. We do want to have some of the things that Van Gogh had in his picture though, because we do want our picture to be inspired by the Starry Night. So if we take a look at our picture here, there's several things in here that are important for us to have. The first thing is this line right here. Okay, we have this line that goes across where the land meets the sky. When we talked about horizontal lines, we talked about how there is something called a horizon. That line there is our horizon. Okay, and if we see the sky here, notice how the sky comes all the way down to the land. A lot of times when people start drawing, you see the sky way up high on their picture, and then you see the land below and nothing's in the middle. So if you look at it, the sky does come down to the land. And when you leave school today, if you look outside, you'll be able to see that the sky does truly come down to the land. The second thing that we are going to include is the moon up here. Okay, and if you look at the moon, Van Gogh painted his moon as a crescent moon, which means that it's a C shape. Okay, we are going to do that as well. We're going to start with a circle shape, but we will turn it into a crescent moon as well. Now Van Gogh had his up in the corner there. You don't necessarily have to put yours in the same spot. The next thing that we want to make sure that we have are these lines here, these wavy wind lines. Okay, when you look at those, they are lines that go horizontal, they go side to side, but they're not straight like the horizontal lines we used for our last project. They are wavy horizontal lines, and just because they are wavy does not mean that they can't be horizontal. So they are going to go side to side, and we do want to show those in our picture as well. The last thing that we're going to make sure we include are the stars in the sky. And if you look at these stars, Van Gogh painted them to be circles. Okay? He did not make his stars star-shaped. And really, when you look outside at the starry night in real life, those stars are not star shapes. They are more like dots or little circles. All right. So our first line that we are going to draw on our paper looks like this. Where you put it is important. You want to make sure you find about the middle of your paper. Here's the middle of my paper right here. And then go a little bit below that. Okay, so that most of our paper is going to have the sky up here in this area. You're going to start at one side here, and we're going to draw a wavy line. Now notice how I say that. It's a wavy line. We don't want it to have too many bumps. And if you look at mine, it has about 2.5. So somewhere between 2 and 3 bumps is really what we're looking for. We don't want it to look like this, okay? That is too lumpy and bumpy for our land to be, okay? So, nope, we don't want that. So back to our wavy line. This is what we are aiming for. Our next step is going to be to add our moon. And we're going to start with a circle, even though we're going to turn it into a crescent moon. But we're going to start with a circle, and we're going to keep it on there because it will help us when we get to the coloring part. Okay, so every table is going to get a plastic cup, just like the one in the picture here. And you're going to turn it upside down and trace your circle. So that way we get a really good circle and it's the right size. Now again, Van Gogh had his in the upper right corner. I'm going to put mine in the upper right corner. You do not have to do that. If you think that the moon would look better in the middle or in the upper left corner, wherever you think it would look best in the sky, you can go ahead and put yours there. So there's my circle. All right, our next part is going to be to draw a C shape to get it to be a crescent moon. And I put a green dot on my picture here so that you can see where I'm starting my line, because it's important that when you start your C, that you start right on that circle, okay, right where that green dot is. And when you end it, it should end right where this red dot is, right there. Okay, so when you start that C on the circle, when you end that C, it's on the circle. So when you are done, it will look like this. All right, our next line is we're going to get some of those wavy lines for the wind in. And yours may not look exactly like mine, and that is okay. You don't want it to run into your moon, so if your moon is in a different place than mine, just make sure that your line doesn't hit your moon. And I started all the way on the left, and you do want this first one to be pretty long. You want it to go at least about halfway across your page. And if you look at mine again, it's not one of those super wavy, lumpy, bumpy lines. It's a wavy line. So when I did mine, I started my line by going down, up, and around. So that's a pretty good formula to follow for this. Down, up, and around. All right, go ahead and put that one on your paper, and like I said, it does not have to be exactly like mine. The next line we are going to do is going to be our second windy line, and it's going to look like this. Okay, and just like our first one, yours does not have to look just like mine. We just want to put another one in there somewhere. Now notice my second one did not start all the way on the edge of my paper, and it's not quite as long as my other one, but if yours looks a little bit different, that is all right. I followed my same method for doing this one. I went down, up, and around the same way I did for the first one. Now, for your wind lines, fit them in where yours fit best. And if that means maybe they start on the other side of the page, that's okay. Just fit it in however you think looks nice. All right, the last thing that we need to make sure that we add are the stars. And we talked about how those stars are not star shapes, they are circles. We don't want 100 stars in our picture. So when we draw them, we are only going to draw 7. And you don't want to put those stars all in a line just like at the top of your paper like this, because stars are spread out all over the sky. When you draw your circles for the stars, because yes, we are using circles for the stars, they should be about the size of the eraser on your pencil. This is how mine looked when I put mine on. I have 7 stars, actually. I have 5 on mine. Go ahead and add 7 stars onto your picture. And they can be inside of your swirls. Don't put them super close to the line, or don't put them super close to your moon. Do spread them out across your paper. Okay, our next thing that we are going to look at is our picture. And this is the Starry Night, and we talked about how Van Gogh is the artist of this one, but you are the artist of your picture. So if you look at Van Gogh's picture, he has lots of things that he added in because these are the things that he thought were neat and wanted to include in his picture. The first thing that I see here is this big, tall tree. It almost looks like a flame of fire. It's a tall, skinny tree called a cypress tree that are common where Van Gogh lived. So he put that into his picture. And then you can also see there's lots of houses down here. There's trees and bushes in here. He has a church right here. So again, these are things that he wanted to include. For this part of the project, you can add whatever you think would be cool in your picture. So if that's houses, great. If it's something else, that is just fine too, because you are the artist and this is your artwork. So you can take the time to go ahead and add some things onto the ground here. The only thing you want to make sure of is that you put all of your objects below this horizon line here, because if they're above the horizon line, they're going to look like they're floating in the sky. But other than that, what you put in there is up to you. So take some time, think of some creative ideas that you can put into your picture. They don't even really have to be realistic, but you can add whatever you would like as long as it is school appropriate.